Drew, was this the first like sort of real storm experience you've had in New Orleans since the team has left for some of the other ones in the past, or have you had a few of these before?
I mean, they all run together. I feel like we definitely have at least one a year. Obviously this year has been a crazy one with the 4 or 5 that we've had that have been either really close or we've been on the outskirts of it. But yeah, obviously we've evacuated for about 3 since I've been here that I can recall. So obviously we weren't here for those, but yeah, that was driving home last night. I left the facility a little bit later, so I feel like that was right in the thick of it. Trash cans blowing across the road, all kinds of trees down. Just having to maneuver a little bit. All the lights were out. It was pretty wild.
Drew, this is the second straight year you guys have played Chicago. I think 3 years out of the last 4. Defensively, they seem to have remained pretty consistent. What are the things that you continuously see that they do well?
Yeah, well, they rush the passer. That's something they've always done a great job of. And so, when you look at, just for example, their big play reel, they don't give up a lot of big plays, and it's a product of great pass rush. That they get to you before you really have a chance for things to develop. And obviously, they're really good on the back end too. They got 2 really good safeties, 2 very good corners, and obviously, good nickel and dime players too. So they're good in coverage. So equate tight coverage plus good pass rush. Usually equals good results for a defense.
Hey Drew, we've seen a lot of great seasons here, some special seasons by some of your offensive teammates. I can think of Mike Thomas last year. Jimmy Graham, Darren Sproles in 2011. It feels like Alvin might be having one of those years this year. What's your take on the start he's had?
Yeah, listen, all the way around, both in the run game, the screen game, the pass game, he's just such a dynamic player who can do so many things. And so, from game to game, obviously, he's going to be, active, but whether it's going to be huge contributions in the pass game or the run game or whatever, he's just, he's been a bit of a human highlight reel, thus far this season. So hopefully that continues.
We talked to Sean yesterday about his intelligence as a player. Have you seen that? He's had 3 penalties in his entire career, 1 pre-snap penalty. Seems like he hardly ever drops a ball. There's a lot of intangible factors that might get overlooked because he's such a great physical talent.
Yeah, he's one of the most intelligent football players I've ever been around. You just tell him once and he's got it, or he can just watch it on film, or he can just see it one time and he's got it. And he's got such good feel. He's got obviously great instincts and great ability, but yes, extremely intelligent. To the point where we have these tongue twister plays at times, so you get in the huddle and you might be in practice and you're kind of working your way, struggling through, calling a play, and Alvin will be the one to chime in and kind of give you the answer to the test, So, yeah, he's a very smart football player.
Who's been the toughest mental aspect of maybe not knowing whether or not Mike Thomas could be up since week 1 and able to play?
Yeah, listen, I put a ton of time and effort and preparation into, each and every situation that we're going to encounter through the course of a game. And with each of those, you visualize, hey, what the defense could do, where our offensive players are, where our weapons are, where your progression is, where your outlets are, just all those things, and obviously when he's in the game, that changes the mindset a little bit. Obviously he's a feature guy, but when he's not, or when there's doubt, obviously that can make things a little more difficult just from the standpoint of, your preparation.
Drew, you've obviously run that teammate drill hundreds of times, practice, games, whatever. But how much of that is also dependent on your ability to just stay kind of calm, cool in the pocket, not let the moment get to you, and just focus on getting the job done.
What was the first part of your question?
I was just saying you've done that 2-minute drill hundreds of times. So a big part of this is
yeah
for you, but it's also part of it is also just kind of calming your emotions and everything in the moment?
Yeah, the biggest thing with the 2 minute is it's each one is a unique situation because it's based on time, it's based on timeouts, it's based on situation. What do you need? You need a field goal, you need a touchdown. What are you trying to get? And so, what are you trying to accomplish? So you package that together with, all right, here's how we're going to attack them, and obviously there's a sense of urgency that goes along with it, and so really I think that's where the overall knowledge and just the management of those situations comes into play. And obviously we practice it a bunch and visualize it a bunch.
Hey, Drew, the offense has looked better over these last few games. How would you, I guess, say that you guys were able to make those improvements despite the fact that you've had guys out and the roster has been a little uncertain just because of the various injuries and whatnot?
Yeah, so it's just time on task. Each and every year is different, and especially when you've got a bunch of new guys that didn't get a preseason, didn't get an off season, and all of a sudden are just kind of thrown in the mix, and you got to figure out who are we as an offense? What's our identity? What are we able to do? What are we hanging our hat on? What's our bread and butter? How are we putting these guys in the best position to succeed? And based on the defense that we're playing and the matchups and all those things. I mean, there's so much that goes into a game plan, but I feel like the more time on task you get and the more game time experience, especially with young guys, the more you begin to fine tune what you're doing.
Drew, is there almost a silver lining to some of the, obviously you'd rather have Emmanuel and Mike out there every snap, but just having to figure it out more so with Callaway and some of those other guys, is there a silver lining to that could pay off later? Yeah,
listen, you're always prepared. I mean, listen, you go with the hand that you're dealt, you go with the situation that you're in. And, what I love is from week to week, man, there's a way to win every game, and you just got to figure out how. And you look at who you have, and you look at what they're good at, and you look, man, how are we gonna put guys in positions to succeed? How are we gonna, preach the keys to victory? How are we gonna, go about preparing for this game and winning this game? And listen, we know what a key contributor Mike is, and same for Emmanuel. But when you don't have those guys, man, it's a great opportunity for these young guys. And I think as you make a run at it down the stretch, you're going to need a little bit of everybody.
Hey, Drew, you mentioned how scary it was, or driving home last night. When you got home, how was everything? Did you have any damage to your house when you got up today?
No, I mean just a lot of debris. A lot of debris everywhere. Honestly, I left early. It was still dark, so I probably didn't get a full assessment of everything around the house or on the exterior. But according to my wife, everything's okay, and obviously just kind of the power going in and out, and that kind of stuff, and kids not being in school, so stuck inside for the most part. Obviously, today's a beautiful day. Hopefully, she has them outside cleaning everything up. But no, that's. Yeah, obviously scary time for the city, and hope that everybody's okay out there. What's that?
So what did your kids have to say about that?
All the kids know is no school. That's the only thing that they hear. It's not hurricane or whatever. The world is ending. No, I mean it's just no school. Okay, awesome. We're we're going to turn it loose. Now we get to go buck wild.
Drew, do you find yourself having to be more of a teacher, just given some of the injuries with some of these young guys? And is that something you enjoy too?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's part of playing the quarterback position, and obviously being in this offense too for so long. I could sit there and have a conversation with Sean Payton or Joe Lombardi or Pete Carmichael, and we can reference 15 years of offense, and 15 years of evolution. And then all of a sudden one of these young guys comes in and it's like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is the way we used to do it. And then we did it like this for a while. And then we did it like this for a while. But now we're doing it this way. And here's why, because here's what we learned, right, along the way. So I don't know. The young guys kind of get the benefit of all of this experience and all this time on task. And in some cases doing it the right way, and a lot of success stories, and in some cases some failures, But it's good too because we can pull up, cut ups left and right of hey, here's what this looked like back in 07, or 09. It's good stuff.
Drew, what has impressed you most? You talk a lot about the highlight reel that Elvin's been this year. What's impressed you most about how he's attacked this season, and maybe something that's even surprised you?
Yeah, last one, and then I got to get rolling. I think that especially, for the running back position, and a guy who is obviously, very much the focal point, of every defense that we play. Where you just kind of come into your own, when your skill level is at an all-time high, right? And then you add the experience of now, going on 4 years as an NFL player, and being in an offense like this, and being around other players like the ones we have, and a coach like we have. It's like when all the stars align, right? It's when it all kind of comes together, and so I think that's what's so exciting for Alvin, is like, man, these are, you'd say your prime, right? Like, man, he's right, and he's in his prime, and like poised to be able to do pretty much anything, Now listen, it starts with the way that he works, and it starts with the way that he prepares and what he does on the practice field, and he is a great practice player, and he's a great preparation guy, so it's not like he just snaps his fingers, shows up on Sundays, and this stuff happens. So, he's been able to fine-tune his process. He's become a pro in regards to taking care of his body and all the things that come along with it. So I think that's what's pleasing for me, is to see a guy who, man, has just earned it every step of the way. And now he's reaping the benefits of all that hard work. All right, guys, thanks.